Hey everyone, it's Keely here for Soy and Shea. Thank you so much for joining me for today's soap making video. The fragrance oil I'm going to use in today's soap is Basil, Sage and Mint. Now I decided that I was going to change the name of this soap to Herbal because I really couldn't positively identify any of those three herbs within this particular fragrance oil, and to be honest I had been put off using this fragrance because I wasn't sure how well it would come through in soap. Now during the processes of making the soap it was quite strong, but once it had finished saponifying and it's now gone through its cure, it is a really mild fragrance bar soap. It's perfect for those people who do not like an overpowering scent in their soap and prefer that sort of fresh, clean, more natural style of smell. So it is still a really good fragrance oil, but definitely not one if you like that your fragrance is to really pop and zing out of your soaps. But we're going to go and check out how I make my herbal soap bar. Let's go. Alright, so let's get into making this soap. I'm hoping my oils aren't too hot. They're about 4 degrees warmer than what I usually like to soap at. If it is too hot, it's just going to trace real quick. But that won't be too bad because we're doing a relatively simple design, which I'll get into in just a moment. But for now, I'm going to mix my lye water and my oils together. We won't do too much mixing, just to avoid that sort of chance that it may move quickly on me. We'll find out very soon. Alright, so that should do. It is a very, very light emulsion here. Gave it a few pulses and then a good mix as well. I'm going to split this up into 3 different greens, plus, let me grab my other jug so I don't forget, I do want to break some of this off for a little bit of white. So we'll go, well I say a little bit, but I do actually want a fair amount. So we'll go that one and we'll put in some titanium dioxide into that one there. Then into my other buckets we've got 3 different greens, and I want to try and split this up as evenly as possible. I have some lime spider, I have some, which one was this? This was some green sage mica, and this one in here is some Caribbean, and I kind of want them to represent, this will be the mint, this is the sage, and this is the basil that we're going to do. So I'm going to split the rest of this up as evenly as I can between these pots. We're going to give these a bit of a mix. So they've all had a good mix. Let's add in our fragrance oil, which is basil, sage and mint. It's got a beautiful herbaceous smell to it. Quite fresh and clean. That mint does kind of pop through into it. Just going to divide it up between all of those. Now I did also add a little bit of cedarwood atlas in it, which is a trick that I have learned from off of George at Dawn Organics, just because I was a bit concerned about how well this one would actually hold in the soap, and I've tried his little trick a few times about adding in a little bit of the cedarwood atlas, and it really does help. It does help them to kind of stay in there, and the fragrance doesn't change by adding in just that small amount. If you want to know more about how much to add, go and check out his channel because he does explain it in quite a few of his videos. Going to give it a good mix, and then I'm going to do an in the pot, pour some of this white into each of my greens, and then we're going to grab the mold and pour the rest in there. Alright, so we're going to grab the mould, and I decided while I was designing these soaps, I've only used these dividers once, so I figured I'm going to use them again just to make sure that we are getting a good use out of our dividers here. I'm going to start by pouring, let's go the dark one in the middle, and I did contemplate doing a Taiwanese or a mantra swirl, but my sort of issue with doing those swirls is the amount of wasted soap that you do end up with because you have to cut them horizontally, and I can't bring myself to do that much wastage on my soaps, and I didn't want to have to sit and calculate and fiddle with it to try and get the least amount of wastage. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to get these 3 poured in here. Running out of room. Very thankful that my batter is just playing beautifully. Absolutely beautifully this one is behaving. We'll probably have to stop there, otherwise I'm going to overfill part of it, I think. Let's get our light green. You probably can't see much with me doing it from that side, but there's no sort of other angle for me to do it. I'm filling it up so it comes right up to the edge of the mould. I will end up with some left in here, but when we take the dividers out, the soap will also drop. So let's get this one in. Starting to thicken up on me a bit now, which is good. It means we'll end up with our lines. Need just a little bit more of that dark green through the middle, like so. Alright, so first what I'm going to do is take this one out the middle, and then we're going to slide these out. And what I'm going to try and do, oh no, that's it. I was going to try and save some of that soap, but maybe not. It's just going to get way too messy. What we can do is, I'm just going to grab my spatula, see if you can see, move that one out of the way, bring that one in, try not to drip soap everywhere. I'm just going to grab my spatula, we'll wipe that one down into that bucket, just so we don't waste any soap. I don't like wasting it. I'll scrape that one in there. Luckily I have picked a very well behaving fragrance here. Let's get this one out. I'm going to do the same thing, save that bit of soap off of here, like so. Whoop, flip it over and grab that. Whoop, just dripped it all over the floor. Alright, we're going to pull these end ones out. Too hard to save the end bits. These went in ever so tightly. Let's see if we can get them out without doing too much damage to the soap. There's no way that was moving. So that's that one out. Let's see if we can get that one out. I don't know why mine are so tight in my molds. They're tight in all of them, which is a good thing because it means that they don't seep underneath when you're using them, but you do really need to get it out before the soap sets up to avoid any damage. There it goes. Right, now what I'm going to do, because as I said, I don't like how the mantra swirl uses too much soap, but I think that's going to be pretty boring just having those lines. So I have got my hanger swirl, my hanger tool, and I'm going to drop that down the one side so it's on the bottom, and I'm just going to come backwards and forwards, moving the hanger up as I've come along and come back up on that one edge. So hopefully we'll get a little bit of swirling in there. We'll see what happens. Now what I'm going to do is just finish very gently pouring these colours on the top here just to fill my mould back up. And let's do, actually I was going to do I don't know what sort of swirl I'm going to do. Let's just go backwards and forwards. That end bar's got, I don't know what I'm doing, swirl in it. But I'm just going to go backwards and forwards across the bar. It's not giving a very interesting, let's just swirl it. Because all inside's going to be swirled as well. That's nicer. Told you. I like when I see other people do the Taiwanese and the mantra swirl, but I just don't like it myself. I don't know why. Like, I don't like when I do it. Mainly the waste factor, but I also don't like the pattern on the top of my soaps. Let me get this cleaned up. I don't know why this is so full when I've used my standard recipe. Alright, that's looking better. Let's just fix that swirl up in there a bit. Alright, so there it is. That is all I'm going to do with this soap. It's very, very plain and simple, just so it appeals to a lot of people. It is smelling really good as well. I believe it could be one of the Nature's Garden fragrances. I had it from off of the fragrance shed a long time ago. In fact, I don't think I ordered from them throughout 2021 because every time I went to go and order, the cart was closed, so I gave up ordering from them and discovered a few other people to buy my fragrances from. But that's how long I've actually had this one sitting there for, because I honestly didn't think it was going to last in soap once I smelt it. But knowing the Nature's Garden fragrances, they are actually pretty good in soap. So hopefully this one will hold up. I'm going to leave it sit here for 24 hours and we'll be back in just a moment. We'll cut it open and see what we've got on the inside. Alright, so we are back to cut into our basil, sage and mint. This has actually taken me 4 days to get out of the mould, and then I've had to let it sit here a whole other day to really harden up. I'm not sure what it is about those nurture soap moulds, but the recipe I've been using it for years now, and it comes out of the Nicole moulds really nice and simple, without any struggle. But if I don't put sodium lactate into my soap recipe when I'm using the nurture soap mould, I have all sorts of grief. And I realized after I made it, I had forgotten to put the sodium lactate in. Now, because I have actually damaged the ends trying to get it out of the mold, I'm only going to cut this one so I end up with 17 pieces instead of 18, and we'll just have some nice chunky ends. So we are through. Let's see what happened on the inside of this one. Oh, and that's interesting. I like that. I really like the way that has come together. I think I've got you on a bit of a slight slant and an angle again today, but I'm really liking the patterns. I like how the white has swirled through there. Got a side-on heart in that little piece there. So I'm really pleased I actually did put the hanger through that as well, because like I said when I was making this one, although I love the Taiwanese and the mantra swirl, I just hate the amount of wasted soap that I get. But doing it this way, I've still got a bit of interest between those sort of columns of colour. Oh, and I really like that. And it does look like that white has just been purposely swirled all through there and not into each of the individual colours, because it kind of like combines into each of the sort of columns there. So I am really pleased with how this one has come up. It doesn't smell as strong as I hoped it would, and that is why I have put off using this particular fragrance for a while, but I'm sure people who prefer a milder soap will like this particular bar. So there it is. There is the basil, sage and mint soap. I hope you've enjoyed watching how I made this one. If you want to know when it is ready, come and follow along with me over on Instagram, and I will post pictures when it is up on the website. So as I was saying, I hope you enjoyed watching how I made this one, and until the next video comes out, I hope you have a great one, and I'll see you then. Bye.